Hello, Stuart here. I'm going to read an extract from chapter 9. It's called The First Miracle. It's 1951 and I'm 7 years of age. But rather than read the whole chapter, which is very long, I'll praise it to the point in which you can understand where it's coming from. At 7 years of age in Birmingham, just after the Second World War, things were very tough indeed. And it was a very exciting time this particular summer because we were going on holiday to a resort on the south coast of England called Budleigh Salterton. Now, I expected it to be golden sands where I could run across the beach and run into the sea. It was a wonderful thought that was in my head. But things didn't turn out quite the way we expected. At that particular time, I'd had 7 years of very depressing period in my life. And the only friends I really had were in my head. They were spiritual friends. A small boy about my age called James and his mother, who I used to talk to a lot and get a lot of comfort from. But anyway, we were on holiday in Devon. And I enticed my mother into the sea to join me. It was a very rough sea. And by pure chance, she got hit by a massive wave and she was crushed beneath it and she bashed her head into the pebbles below beneath the sea and she came out missing all her teeth. I was shocked and she was screaming and I thought all her teeth were knocked out. And then for the first time, she explained she had false teeth. I had never heard of false teeth. And what a secret she remained in her heart. It was quite strange. But that ended our holiday after the first day. She wanted to go home. She was distraught. And during the evening, I asked my spiritual friends for some help. Can you help me find my mother's teeth in the ocean? And to cut a long story short, the very next day, as we were going home, I asked my parents one more stroll down by the beach, which they reluctantly agreed to. This is what happened next. It would be impossible to find my mother's teeth in the morass of ocean that stretched for miles along the coastline, and I shook with trepidation. We walked in silent procession to the beachfront pathway that was well away from the maelstrom bearing down on the solitary shoreline. In a minute, Sally exclaimed, James will lead you to your mother's teeth. It was time. So I yanked on my mother's hand. I'm going to find your teeth, I shouted. The surrounding furore ensured my words wafted far from my father, and he seemed uninterested anyway. My friend James is here and he's going to show me. I knew by my mum's wide-eyed expression that she was intrigued, but had no idea what would transpire. Frankly, neither did I. James speedily took off and ran towards the watery firestorm. Come on, he shouted. I ran like the wind that whipped around my body, and my mother screamed. She employed my father to action. My shorts, pullover and shirt were off in seconds, and I stood with James confronting the wall of ocean before us. My father was within a few feet of sweeping me into his arms, back to safety, but it was too late. Although the sea stood up like a malevolent monster ready to pound me into the pebbles, James was through it in an instant, and I followed, timing my dive perfectly. Dolphin-like, through the eye of the enormous wave, I joined James on the other side. Reaching calmer waters meant riding one more riotous roller. I bowed before its majesty and soon found myself beneath the swirling tide of the Atlantic. Millions of stones swished and swirled across the ocean floor. Everything was crystal clear, and I surfaced, gasping for breath. If I die, I will have done so for my mum. James and I floated side by side. "I'm going to take you to the spot where your mother's teeth lie," he shouted. "When we get there, swim directly down and look for a large cone-shaped white stone with brown rings around it. Lift it up and you will find them." His steadfast certainty inspired me. "Okay, let's go," I spluttered. As the ocean front disappeared in the distance, I worried I would not get back. I was exhausted within minutes when James screamed, "Go down now." I took a deep breath, whipped my body over and flippered my way down to the ocean floor. If I don't find the stone first time, I will die for sure. The silence and hidden beauty of the vista below belied the danger I was in. My tired body was suddenly galvanized from head to foot, and the stone that James had described so accurately came into view. It was a magnificent sight, but I had a few seconds of breath left. It was now or never, and I pushed the stone aside. It was a beautiful sight. A complete set of perfectly polished teeth lay smiling on the seabed. I wanted to scream, "Yes!" I gripped the bounty with vice-like force. James and his mother were real. But the ocean escapade wasn't over yet. Let my mother tell you in her own words, at 93 years of age, what she remembers about that time.
I lost my false teeth in the ocean. I was very upset. In the evening, Stuart, who was only 7, says, "I know where the teeth are." I didn't take any notice because it was impossible to know. The next day we were on the beach and Stuart said, "They're in the ocean." I didn't take any notice at all. The next thing I knew, Stuart was swimming out to the sea. 10 minutes later, he came out of the sea holding my teeth. I just couldn't believe it. It was a miracle.